Welcome to Marauder Mining. Today I've only put one screw in it so far, but we're going to take this old server. It's a 12 bay server that was used probably in a commercial setting at one point in time. What we're doing is we're putting a newer motherboard in it with I think this is a 5700G processor. If not, it's a 5600. I don't remember what I put in here, but I do remember it's one of the two. Also, I put an SSD in here, and we're going to put, that's an NVMe SSD. It's a Viper PCIe 3.0, I believe. VPN 100, and we have a SAS card. Now this is a newer generation SAS card. When you go to buy SAS cards, you got to kind of look up the specs of the SAS cards, because the older generations will only handle certain capacity hard drives. This one will handle the higher capacity hard drives. So that's why we purchased this one. So this just pops in here like so. Now we're just going to go through, and we got to put all of our screws in. Actually, let me take this screw out. Just want to make sure there's nothing under there, because I did move it around and I don't want anything shorting out. I just set that screw down somewhere. It's this one. Alright, so basically all we got to do is screw this in. Like I said, it's already got the processor and the RAM put in there. And we're going to try and reuse the server power supplies and all the other server wiring. We're just going to try and see if we can't get this newer motherboard in this old server case. Now the reason why I'm doing this is for Chia. Now I do have a couple other Chia servers right there, and if this works out on this one, I'm going to move some of the hard drives out of one of them and put it in here for now, and take the SSD that's got Windows on it and move that over here also, and then basically get it synced back up to Chia. Now once I do that, I have another motherboard with another G processor from Ryzen that will go in the next server case. And then I'll have to get one more for the other server. Now I have the motherboard, I just got to get the processor. I think I have the RAM too. These screws just are not cooperating with me. Using my iFixit kit. These things are really nice to have. The only complaint I have is it seems like the screwdriver I'm using at the moment is not magnetic. It's not helping me get the screws in very easily. I went ahead and put the screws in. There's a few things we need to get from this old one. I'm not gonna put all the hard drives in just yet, because one, I don't want to make it heavy to move around. And two, I want to get it booted into Windows before I confuse it with a bunch of other drives. If I just got my NVMe in here and my normal SSD that I use for booting into Windows, it'll make it less confusing for the computer. So we're going to take the few things we need out of there for now, get them put into here, get the rest of this hooked up, and get it booted into Windows. Once we do that, we're going to take all of our Chia drives and get them into here. I got a few more of these SATA cables over here. So these older servers, you kind of gotta make your own way with them, because they didn't design them to do what I'm doing right here, okay, which is some of these ports I'm running to normal SATA, and the reason why I'm doing that instead of the SAS is, frankly, I don't want to use another SAS card. I'd rather just use the one, and the SAS cables I have will work for 4 drives. But so since they only work for 4 drives, we got to use the SATA ports on the motherboard as well. Now that I'm looking at this though, I'll be right back. Alright, so we didn't have quite enough SATA ports to run all 12 of our drives on the board, because we only have 4 ports on the board. We got another 8 coming off the SAS. This will hold 12 drives, plus I need one for the SSD. So this is a SATA controller, just a cheap one I got on Amazon, and these work pretty well. I'm just going to stick this guy in right here. It goes wrong way, goes this way, and then we're just going to run a SATA cable off this for the one we're going to boot off of. And then the other thing we're going to need on these older servers, they didn't have SATA yet. So you have to have a Molex to SATA converter. Now, the reason why I did it this way for these Chia servers is you can get these old Xeon servers off of eBay, at least when I bought them, for about $150. Server cases sell for more than that new. So at first I was using them like, you know, just to do Chia, and I thought that would be fine, but you know, I've been mining Chia for a long time now and haven't had great results. I've earned exactly 0 Chia coins. And, you know, my other mining stuff is going good. But with Chia, you know, we're not making really any progress here. So my thought is, one, we just installed Starlink. So that's going to help with the latency. And I'm hoping this will help with the compute power. So maybe that our blocks will get to the server and back faster, and maybe we'll potentially earn greater rewards like that. Alright, so we got the computer to boot. One thing I wanted to mention though is our fans up here aren't working. And these cords are really short, okay, to get these fans working. And you really kind of need these fans to keep the hard drives cool. So this would apply when you're building a Chia server or any kind of node server, you know, Flux or whatever. When you switch to a newer motherboard, you're going to have different kinds of adapters, like that power to SATA. So this is what I got. It just plugs into a normal fan header and then splits it off into 4, okay? So that's gonna help keep this cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this hooked up and I'm gonna get the rest of this booted. As you can see, it posted, and I'll be right back with you. And I just wanted to do a follow-up video with you guys about this Chia server that we built the other day. Everything that I did, you guys pretty much seen. Everything's been running fine. It took me a little bit of reworking some of the software. I got it up and running. It took some time to get everything working correctly, just because I got older stuff running with newer stuff, and sometimes that can be complicated. But, you know, we used the adapters we had to use to get there. We got there, and it's been running pretty good for a couple of days. I've been working out a couple of bugs on the Chia server, because every time I go to the logs, I find new errors. So every time I find the new errors, I try and clean them up. But as you can see, we got a plot count of 2021, which is 200.025 terabyte. The network is 30.861 exabyte, and the estimated time to win is a month. Now, when I started doing this, all these servers that I'm using down here are old Xeon servers. So what I am doing is I'm replacing the boards, because it's way cheaper than buying a new case and building the case. Even though the power button doesn't work, I can still turn it on from the inside. I know how to do that. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could use a mining power switch, but this is a whole lot cheaper to do it this way and buy a $150 old server and use everything except for the motherboard and the processor and the RAM. So that way you can have, you know, 12 hard drives in there, and then you got the USB 3.2, and I got it ran up here with all these, and there's my power strips, which you can get those big power strips on Amazon. Those are great, because I'll tell you what happens is with a lot of these power bricks, when you try and use a regular power supply, they just run into each other, and then you got to use a ton of them. With these, it's nice and spaced out, so all your power bricks fit in there real nice. So what I'm going to do now is I got another one inside the house that I'm going to put together the same way. I got a little food right there. The same way as I put this one together. And I have a ton of these XEO 16 terabyte hard drives. I got, I don't know, 5 or 6 right there. I got another 5 over there on the shelf, plus I got 3 externals. I'm gonna build me another 300 terabyte, and we're gonna get about a half a petabyte on Chia and see if we can make this work, because I've been running this thing since June and haven't won one coin, not one, okay? So you're talking 7-8 months now. I think the major problem was my internet, okay? Now I got Starlink, latency's a lot better. I'm hoping that makes the difference. If that makes the difference, half a petabyte, we're in the game. So we got this all put together. It's running great. Starlink's doing super great. I got 2 plotters in the house that we're going to use. One's a Ryzen 24 core, or not a Ryzen, a Threadripper 24 core. And then I got, and that's got 128 gig of RAM. And then I got a 5950X with 32 gig of RAM in there. They're both liquid cooled. I'm gonna have those plotting Chia. I got a computer that I bought just to kind of set up in the bedroom and mine with. It's got a 3060 in it. I'm gonna take that 3060 off. It's also got a 5700G in it, which is a processor that has its own GPU built in. And I'm going to take that motherboard and processor and put it into one of these servers. I'm going to get rid of the old Asus case, forget that. We can fit a lot more hard drives in it with one of these, okay? Then I can take that 3060 and shove it over there on one of them, okay? So, I mean, I only paid $1,000 for that computer at Walmart. So, if you think about it, I got a 3060, which that almost goes for $1,000 on eBay right now. And I got the processor, RAM, motherboard, I got everything I need. So I'm gonna gut that, put the GPU over there, and put everything else in one of these. Now, I do have another 5600G on my test bench, and I got a bunch of motherboards that I'm gonna list on eBay because I can't use them. I just don't have any use for them. And when I bought all these GPUs, a lot of times Newegg made you buy a motherboard with it. So I got a bunch of motherboards over there that I'm gonna list on eBay, and I'm gonna probably order one more Ryzen CPU and utilize one of those motherboards to fill up the third case, okay? If we start winning a lot of Chia coins, you're gonna see a petabyte coming. I'm gonna get a whole nother half a petabyte if we start hitting them left and right. So, the people at Chia, get it right. Because I got a bunch on your server, and I've had it there for a long time. And honestly, I've been running close to 300 terabytes since about June of last year. It's ridiculous that I couldn't win. And a lot of this stuff on the internet says that with a 1 megabyte connection, you should be able to win. My connection was about 17 megabytes, and I wasn't hitting nothing. So, I don't know if it's, because we were kind of coming out of testnet, if those plots are any good. I don't know if these plots are any good. But once I start writing those new plots, and if I start hitting on the new plots and not on these plots, I'm rewriting these plots. And then, like I said, we're going to get another half a petabyte down here if we start hitting them. And I'm hoping that Chia does something and it takes off. I really do. The price has gone way down since it started. But we're going to spec mine this and hope to come out on top. And hope that this is what's going to replace Ethereum when Ethereum dies. Well, not dies, but you know what I mean. Goes to Ethereum 2.0. So stick around. We're going to learn about Chia. We're going to learn about GPU mining. We're going to learn about crypto investing. We're going to learn about NFTs. We're going to learn about Starlink. We're going to learn about solar. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And leave a comment down in the comment section.